I want to talk for a moment about what I see as the top challenges that AV companies are facing today, whether, regardless of what segment you work in, whether you're production rental, your, built environment. I think we're seeing the same challenges across the board. Part of it is an identity crisis. By identifying yourself as an AV company, you've put yourself into a niche that overlaps in other areas. So I think one of the challenges is having a clear understanding of where you fit into the marketplace. What is AV? In the built environment, AV has become a subset of the IT world. Okay, we're below the food chain with the people who are running the network. In the live events world, AV is a subset of the entertainment experts. Sometimes we're having to, raise our game to be on par with the same people who are putting on Broadway shows and big name entertainment and things like that. So I think we're struggling a little bit with an identity crisis about what AV actually is and does AV actually matter. The second thing I'm noticing is we're increasingly we're having a difficult time identifying who our customers are, what the target customer is. And that's difficult because that affects how you do marketing, that affects pricing, it affects what products and services you offer if you're not sure who your customer is. And the contributing factor to this is channel disruption. So the same sort of channel disruption that affects us because IT's encroaching on AV or entertainment's encroaching on AV or maybe we're encroaching on them. We have channel disruption in there are more places for a client to buy services that include what you do. They may decide to buy at a very high level of which you're you're a low subset within that value chain, or they may, buy at your level or may even buy below your level. They can enter in at any point at all. And that makes it difficult to identify who it is you want to sell to. Now, my recommendation for that is sit down and have an honest conversation with yourself about clients that you like doing business with, that buy what you're selling and that make you money. Now, where can I find more of them? I hate to be practical about it. Don't worry about titles. Don't worry about verticals or segments. Meet those three criteria and you're going to do much, much better. And the third thing I think AV companies in particular are struggling with right now is differentiation. It's defining a value proposition that is meaningful. It has to do with the two things I just talked about. If your segment is, not well defined or is getting a little bit cloudy with all the other offerings out there, if your customer segments aren't clear, it's really hard to define your value proposition. So taking some extra time to understand what you do to improve your customer's condition, okay? Value proposition is 1 + 1 = 3. That extra one is your value proposition. Figure out what that is. Ask your customers, what makes you more valuable than somebody else who's offering 1 + 1? Okay? That's where you're going to find the answers. But you have to keep asking the questions. Those are three pretty difficult challenges that we're not going to solve on our own, but we can continue to have the dialogue and make the incremental changes that help us adapt to the changing situation that we're in, which I guess is the sum of all of this, is that the world around us is changing. We have to recognize it and acknowledge that we're going to have to do some things differently and have an honest conversation with ourselves about what those things might actually be.